I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release.
You may have heard me talk about the Enneagram before. Raise your hand if you've heard of the Enneagram personality typing system. Okay, so what it is basically it's a personality typing system that has 9 numbers to it. And they say that everybody has a little bit of all the numbers, but and the goal is to transcend the experience of just being one number. So among those 9 personality types, my number is a 3. And what does that mean? That means the upside is I'm an achiever. I am always doing. I'm super productive. And on the downside, I care too much about what other people think. 3s are characterized by looking to the outside for what is successful, and then they want to put that in their resume. They want to put that in their school experience. They want to put that in their set of achievements. They want to put that on their Facebook wall. But you might easily guess that there's a lot of this trait. And some people say that our country and the world is becoming more like this 3 personality trait, because everybody wants to show off what they do, and they want as many likes as possible on social media. And even if you're not on social media, we care what people think. Or if we don't care about what everybody thinks, maybe there's this one person, maybe there's this one sibling, or somebody in our friend group that we really overweight how they're thinking about us, right? I'm going to go back a little bit to my childhood, And I remember, besides being incredibly shy when I was young, I remember there was always this sibling rivalry between me and my brother. And what made it worse was having a twin brother. You know, that just makes it worse. And I remember it was before kindergarten, so I must have been 4, and one of my earliest memories was my mom saying, "Well, your brother knows the alphabet. How come you don't?" How come you don't? Can anybody empathize with that? And God, lots of hands went up. Your brother knows the days of the week. How come you don't? Your brother knows the months of the year. So I was like, you know, Santiago and Alonzo, have you ever had that experience? I don't know. But being compared to your brother, and Ruben says, uh-oh. And then, you know, you have 2 reactions. You can either be motivated by that, or you can say, well, he's already got those down, so what's the use me trying? And that's what I did. That's what I did. And thank God that when we were in grade school, they always kept us separated. So we weren't in the same classroom trying to compete with each other. Because soon I entered kindergarten and first grade remedial in reading. I remember being on this little side group of kids. We didn't know 1 + 1. We didn't know anything. I remember being held behind in that remedial group. But I caught on quickly because I wanted to make my teachers happy. I was the teacher's pet. I wanted to make the teachers happy, and I saw that when I learned, they were happy. So by the end of the 2nd grade, I won the K-6 school spelling bee. And it went on I became the valedictorian in 7th and 8th grade. So, you know, lots of things. It all ended when I found drumming. So, drumming, yeah. And think about this. When you were an infant, you depended upon your parents completely. And growing up, you depended upon your parents to stay safe so you wouldn't run out in the middle of traffic. You depended upon them, their feedback, even before you could speak. The sound, oh, and yeah, you know, those emotional tones versus no. You know, we would hear that for the next 30 years, right? So you begin to really be toned into this feedback that's going on. And that's pretty interesting because throughout grade school, you care what your teachers think. Throughout high school and college, you care what your teachers think. And becoming an adult, you care about what your bosses think because your boss is going to dictate whether you get a raise or not. Your boss is going to dictate whether you get a promotion. And your boss is going to decide who the next rounds of layoffs are going to be. So you really, really, really want to make your boss happy. But you've got all this programmed in your brain. It's how your brain has been, how your brain works and how your physiology works. And it's not all bad. It's not all bad. You want to be socially intelligent, right? You want to be at a party and not be socially inappropriate. You want to be in community and not be socially inappropriate. So you look for feedback cues from other people. But there is an extent to which thinking of what others think of you goes too far. Especially, have you ever ruminated, playing something over and over again in your head, thinking, what were they thinking? And oh, how could I have been, did I really look like such a fool? Or losing sleep over, what did I do? What did I say at that family gathering? And then, sometimes you call the person and they say, no, I wasn't thinking anything. I didn't notice anything at all, right? You invent this whole story in your head about something going on where someone was judging you when they weren't. So what happens is the critical voice of someone else becomes adopted by you, and you turn it into your critical voice. You add it onto your tape recording, things that aren't even happening. So this is... There's a question. How do we get out of this? How do we cure this? This tendency to judge ourselves and care what other people are thinking too much. There is a spiritual author named Mel Robbins. Anyone ever heard of her? She has something called the let them theory. Let them. And the title of her book is simply Let Them. And I'll read to you a little bit about what she says. And she calls this let them theory the ultimate boundary between you and the world. She says, the problem isn't you. The problem was never you. The problem is the power you knowingly give other people. Stop wasting your time, energy, and happiness trying to control things you can't control, like other people's moods, opinions, actions, and instead focus on what you can control. And I'll say, if the person doesn't appreciate me, let them. Here's how it works. If someone has an opinion about me that's not that helpful, let them. If I think someone is judging me and I'm not sure, just have the attitude of let them. And if they're being how they are being, and people will be how people are, let them be how they are. Because we know how difficult it is to change another's behavior. Terry Cole Whitaker, spiritual author, probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago, wrote a book called Whatever People Think of Me Is None of My Business. And I haven't read it, but I will. Like many. The table of contents was really good. So, the author, Mel Robbins, goes on to say this. When you stop obsessing over what people think, say, or do, you finally have the energy to focus on your own life. The truth is, other people hold no real power over you unless you give it to them. And when you stop trying to control things that aren't yours to control, you stop wasting energy, you reclaim your time, you reclaim your peace of mind, you reclaim your focus. So, she says, finally, learning how to let adults be adults. Now, I question that one. Learning how to let adults be adults, even then when they're being children, right? Learning how to let adults be adults. You finally stop giving your power to other people, and then you can see how much power you truly have. So there's a lot to that, but I can summarize it in two phrases. One is, when this is happening, let them. Let them. And then the other piece of the work is take your power back. Brené Brown says this about taking our power back. She says, this is a time for audacious authenticity. You know, the world wants you to show up as you. It doesn't, when we hand out the chalets, it doesn't say, please emulate Susie Q. God has a unique design for your life, and if that's true, you are truly unique, and you have something to contribute. So you're playing small, as Marianne Williamson would say, doesn't serve anybody. So this is what this work is about. Brené Brown goes on to say, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be all those years. Someone told us, you're supposed to be a doctor. You're supposed to be smarter. You're supposed to be ba-da-da-da. You're supposed to be more patient. Letting go of who we thought we were supposed to be and embracing who we are authentically. Cultivating the courage to be imperfect. Cultivating the courage to be imperfect at the same time. And I think that's really finding the power not from the outside in, but from the inside out. It's a complete flip. And I think that's another reason why we sit here and listen to this, is because this is such a mental shift that it's a life work. You know, we're spiritual workers because I believe we are all healers. We're all empaths, but we're spiritual workers because we know that we are never done. We're not done. We are continuing to grow, and each time we learn something new about ourselves, it opens up a whole new world. So even though the path may feel like this at times, you're going up. You're going up. And finding the power works like this. Someone said this last night at a workshop in San Jose. They said, this is not the power of This is not the power over, it's the power of. So we're not here to have power over. Cruelty and suppression is an example of that. We're here to have power of. So it doesn't mean, well, it means we're not here to be a bully, right? It means we're here to not be afraid to be expressing our unique opinions and worldview. So our spiritual work, connecting to power, and I'm going to talk about this more in a minute, how do we connect to power? That candle is a hint about how we connect to power. That banner is a hint about how we connect to power. And this place called a spiritual center is a hint about how we connect to power. It's connecting with our source energy. It's our alignment with source that is paramount, because source is unlimited. When you don't have a best friend in the world, source energy, the God of your understanding, is there. When no one is being gentle with you, you can be gentle with yourself. And the God, the Mother, Father, God of your understanding will always be gentle with you. So align with source. Esther Hicks said, you can't seek alignment from source and alignment with the neighbor at the same time. Source is never changing. Source is not going to let you down. So I have a final word or two on this topic. Once we let go of what other people think, there's this vacuum. And this vacuum is 3 opportunities. One opportunity is to rewrite the old tape recordings that are playing. That radio station is constantly playing. And how do we do that? Awareness is one way. Awareness, stopping and reconsidering your thought, stopping and reconsidering what you said, and getting curious about it. Curious. And always seeking to be gentle with ourselves in this curiosity and compassionate with ourselves in this curiosity. So that's rewriting old tape recordings. We've got to overwrite them. And what would you rather have? Your mother and father's voice, your boss's voice, some critic's voice, Facebook's voice, or would you rather have the voice of your highest, wise, sage self on those tape recordings? Which one would you pick? So the next 2 opportunities that come with letting go of what other people think are, there's an opportunity for peace and tranquility, and there's an opportunity for action. So this is where I turn to the wisdom of AA, which is heard throughout the halls of all the AA programs, including Al-Anon, which we host 2 of those groups in this room every week. That consciousness is here, alive and well. The consciousness of AA, one of the most important things is the Serenity Prayer. And I'm going to read it to you for those of you who don't know it. And the interesting thing is, if you've never been to any kind of 12-step meeting, you probably know this. Why? Because it's the truth. God grant me the serenity, and you can say it with me if you want to. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So that's what we do. That's where we take someone else's opinion and say, okay, I get to choose whether to internalize that and add that to my tape recordings or not. I go further. I was remembering something about, there's a book they call the Big Book in AA, and the page numbers are all the same. It's printed, so page 417 is always page 417, even if it's reprinted in a certain way or it's online. And on page 417 it says this: this is the key. Now apparently, I'm looking to Randy because I'm like, I better get this right. If there's one thing that you take away from the 12-step programs, one of those things might be acceptance. Because on page 417, it says, acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, thing, situation, or fact unacceptable to me. Can you think of something that you find unacceptable to you? And I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, or thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. That's the let them theory, right? Let them. But It goes on to say, I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world first, but I need to change what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. So change begins here. How is peace in the world going to happen if peace is not happening in my inner orbit? If peace is not happening in my heart? And Gandhi knew this when he said, be the change. Be the change. So I'm going to ask Michael to come up, and in closing, I say, get curious. This is my advice. Get curious about your thoughts, about why you think too deeply about whether other people think about you. And when you catch yourself doing that, just ask for guidance for your highest self to rewrite the tape recording. And above all, know that when you ask, it will be given. And be gentle with yourself in the process. And so it is. While Michael's playing this interlude to this song, there's something else called the Alternative Serenity Prayer. And it's very popular. If you look for the Other Serenity Prayer, I'm going to read this to you while he's playing. It says, God grant me the serenity to stop beating myself up for not doing things perfectly. God grant me the courage to forgive myself because I'm working on doing better. And God grant me the wisdom to know that God loves me just the way I am. And so it is.
I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. Sing that again. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be tender. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. Sing that again. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. It will be easy. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. Gentle. I will be gentle gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. Sing that again. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I rock myself like a newborn baby child. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I love myself like a newborn baby child.